The goblin never expected that only 100 days after arriving in this world, 2 members of his group would become pregnant with his children. Not only did they give birth to a boy and a girl, but they were also the 1 in a million chance chaos born. Moreover, just 1 day after birth, the infants not only learned to walk but also began speaking human language. Not long before, Jack led the group toward the Karasta Mountains. Along the way, he felt relieved that the journey had been uneventful. But when he tried to enter the carriage, he noticed the twin sisters looked unusually pale. Thinking they were just tired from the previous night, Jack didn't pay it much mind. Yet after just 1 day, the sisters' bellies had swollen as if they were 10 months pregnant. Only then did Jack realize they were carrying his children, and their bellies were still growing rapidly. Facing this situation for the first time, Jack urgently contacted Old Man Gob. After understanding the circumstances, Old Man Gob explained that heading to a nearby village was no longer an option, because goblins possessed rapid growth traits. The children of an ogre would absorb massive nutrients from the mother's body and be born shortly after conception. If the mothers were ogres, it would be manageable. But the problem was that both sisters were human. Without sufficient nutrients, the babies might even chew their way out of the womb. Jack's only choice was to immediately find a suitable place for delivery. Even with Lucy's nutrient solutions, the 2 sisters had visibly thinned in a short time. Without stronger nutritional support, they wouldn't last much longer. What Jack did next shocked everyone. He gripped his own arm and, under the sisters' stunned gazes, tore it straight off. He told the sisters to eat his arm. Compared to ordinary food, his flesh contained far more potent energy and nutrients. When the sisters refused to harm him, Jack bit off a piece of his own arm and fed it to them himself. He wouldn't allow anything to happen to the sisters. While he was there, he then personally fed his flesh to the other sister as well. Meanwhile, they found a cave suitable for delivery. Although it was occupied by a few bears, they were unlucky enough to encounter Jack in an urgent situation. After clearing the cave, Jack used his skills to create 2 beds. By then, the sisters' bellies looked ready to burst at any moment. To ease their pain, Jack continuously applied paralysis and healing skills. After what felt like an eternity, the sisters' pain suddenly intensified and their bellies stopped growing, as if the development was complete. Seeing that the time had come, Jack took on the role of a midwife. Natural birth was impossible under these circumstances, so Jack decided to perform a C-section. 2.5 minutes later, the sound of crying infants echoed through the cave. The elder sister gave birth to a girl, and the younger sister delivered a boy. Jack now had both a son and a daughter. The wounds on the sisters' abdomens were completely healed thanks to Jack's blood and recovery skills. Jack then shared the good news with Old Man Gob and described the condition of the 2 newborns. To his surprise, Old Man Gob said the children were likely the legendary Chaos Born. If each had a single horn on their head, he even advised Jack to dispose of them. The reason was this: when human women carried demi-human children, most offspring would belong to the father's race. Only a 1 in a million chance would produce a Chaos-born, beings who possessed traits of both humans and demi-humans. As they grew, they would become extremely powerful, but they would always face rejection, eventually forced to live as monsters. Although Jack believed Old Man Gob's words, he had no intention of abandoning his children. If they were born as monsters, then so be it, he would embrace their identity. Whether they were Chaos-born or not didn't matter to him. Jack soon noticed that both infants were born with Oni traits, likely due to Jack's heavy consumption of Oni pearls and dragon jades. Jack named the elder sister's daughter Gold Pearl and the younger sister's son Silver Pearl. Though named after the colors of Oni pearls, it was still better than the nicknames Old Man Gob had suggested. The next day, the surroundings suddenly became covered in heavy snow. Jack decided to hunt powerful prey alone to strengthen himself. After traveling for some time, the scene before him left Jack astonished. It felt like stepping into a fairy tale. Based on Jack's judgment, the white stag before him was at least a lord-level entity. Even with his full strength, he had only a 30% chance of victory, but Jack felt that made the fight worthwhile. However, the white stag's gaze showed no hostility toward Jack. Just as Jack wondered why it wasn't attacking, the stag began shaking its head violently. The next moment, its antlers detached and fell to the ground. Before Jack could react, the stag brushed past him and vanished into the distance in an instant. Jack stared at the antlers on the ground, sensing that consuming them would grant him powerful skills. But just as he was about to take a bite, images of the 2 infants flashed in his mind. Overwhelmed by paternal affection, he decided to save the antlers for the little ones. Jack continued forward and soon stumbled upon a unit of humans and beastkin, engaged in battle with a tribe of former